Hey everybody. Number 128 in the Criterion collection is Carl T.H. Dreyer, My Mater. Directed by Torben. Can't do your middle name, buddy. I am so sorry. It is SKJ, the O with the line through it, DT. Nope, can't even get close to making my mouth make what that looks like. So, Torben Jensen from Denmark from 1955. This is, as you would imagine, a documentary about the life and mainly the career of Carl T.H. Dreyer, which is the director of the last three movies we've seen. So it covers basically his career in film from beginning to end, and especially focusing on his many films. He did 13 films, some of which were short, some of which were full length. He lived in Canada, or he lived in France for a while. He did that Joan of Arc movie that we did previously, which was really good. It was very interesting to learn a lot about him, and it's hard to review the documentary without talking about the content of the film. I don't know. Maybe I'm not meant to be able to discuss documentaries. Learned a lot of interesting things about him. In particular, how extremely detailed he was and how much he planned out everything in terms of camera movement and what it's going to do just meticulously. He would write 90 pages of notes for himself about the camera movements, which was very intimidating for people. People wanted to work with him because he was a big deal. He was well known and he was very successful. For the most part, he had a dry spell there in the middle, but successful, well-known director. What was interesting is because you hear that and you start thinking like Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick famously was a perfectionist, hundreds of takes, just being absolutely cruel to actors to get what he wanted out of them. And it seems Carl Dreyer had the first part. He was very technical. He knew exactly what he wanted. He had it all mapped out. But it seems like, based on all the interviews in this documentary, when it came to working with actors, he trusted them. And he worked to give them the space they need to deliver the performance he knew that they could do. So there was a lot of, he didn't micromanage, apparently, and he didn't push. And from his own diary, there was even a thing about, actors are very self-aware creatures. They know when they've nailed a performance or not. They don't need me to tell them that they didn't nail it. They know, which is really cool, I think. Very interesting guy. One other thing that I really liked about his viewpoint is a thing that I've struggled with, because his argument was that there is room for artistic films and popular films, mainstream films. They both serve a function, and neither one should look down on the other, which has always kind of been my position. And I got to tell you, when you go through film school, they really want you to look down on popcorn munching films, right? The Marvel films, big blockbuster movies, a bunch of action. They want you to look down on those and focus on the true artistic expression. And I argue, as a person who's going through the entire Criterion collection, there is room for both. They both serve a purpose, right? It is nice to be challenged, and it is nice to watch something that you have to try and dig and understand. That can be fun. It's good for the brain. It's a little workout mentally. But it's also nice to just go and watch the latest Spider-Man movie, which I did yesterday, and it was a great time. And it's okay to not have to analyze the film to try and understand the deeper message that it's making against capitalism or whatever. It's okay to just sit back and enjoy a story being told well. That's always been my position. Turns out it was Carl Dreyer's position too, and I love that. Especially coming from a guy who made more artsy films, saying, hey, we shouldn't be looking down on the non-artsy films, though. Kudos, my buddy. So all of that is kind of my replacement for talking about the plot, because obviously the plot is just talking about Carl Dreyer. As a documentary itself, they did a great job of gathering the information, a lot of interviews. The narrator and the diary excerpts are in English, Most of the interviews are in other languages. He lived in France for a while, so there's some French and there's some Danish. And there could be other languages. I don't know. I'm not great at other languages. The information presented by the documentary is excellent. They gathered great information. I wasn't overly impressed by the presentation of the documentary itself. Um, they used a lot of static shots and tried to have things like zoom in and out and pan across and all this when they were just talking, not during interviews, but like reading diaries or talking about. And then he moved to France for several years, and those effects didn't quite work and felt slightly sinister to me. But mostly that's because he worked in black and white, and having a partially visible black and white face is kind of creepy, honestly. Overall, it was good. It was interesting to learn about the man that I just spent 3 movies watching his work, and we watched a film of his previously. So, like, overall, no complaints about the documentary. I see why the Criterion Collection packaged these 3 films. I'm pointing at them on the screen with my mouse, which is super useful for you guys seeing my face. So this number 124 in the Criterion Collection is the Carl Theodor Dreyer collection, which is Day of Wrath, Odette, Gertrude, and this documentary. And I think it's a good set. If you like slow dramas, this is excellent. And I've really come around on the cinematography. His work is really good. The long mapped long takes, it's very good. I'm kind of stumbling. It's been a long day. So let's just move into next time. Number 129, Le Trot, directed by Jacques Becker from France from 1960. I also want to say, coming up soon, I will be spending a week in Seattle and Canada. And then the week after that, I'm going to be in Dallas for like 3 or 4 days. My schedule for being able to watch and review these is going to be a little mixed up, right? So I don't know what the pacing is going to look like. I think I'm going to try and take a movie or 2 with me to Seattle to watch, but I don't know if that'll happen for sure. Who knows? I'm going to do my best. So if we will continue going, there just might be a temporary disruption of service is all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm going to go try and get some rest. I will see you guys next time. I don't know what Le Trot stands for, so I absolutely know nothing about this film. It'll be fun. We'll figure it out together. Thank you, as always, for being a part of this journey. I'll see you guys next time.